Welcome, everybody, to today's Sunday Satsang, and it's in memory of the birthday, commemorating the birthday of our Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda. You could also say it's in honor of the new year that we're all moving into. And today we have a wonderful program, I believe, for you today. We're going to have a number of us speaking today and sharing on Master's life around that theme. And so let's begin today with a prayer, and then we'll have a chant and a little bit of meditation, and then we'll get started with discourse and sharing with you. So let's pray together. Follow along with me. I'll say the prayer, and then you can follow along mentally. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, of Kriya Yoga, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar, beloved Gurudev, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints of all religion, we humbly bow to you all. Blessed Master, we offer ourselves to Thee, our service, our prayers, our devotion. Receive us, for we are Thy disciples. Come into our hearts and guide us, our devotion, our aspirations, our actions of our hands, everything we do. Guide us on the right path, that we might be ever in tune with Thee, carrying forward Your blessings, Your divine ray to share with all the world and all whom we meet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's begin with a prayer, with a chant. Shri Guru Deva, 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 Shri Let's now sit up and let's meditate. We'll meditate just for a short time today, 3 to 5 minutes. Let's begin though. Let's inhale, tense the whole body, and expel the breath. Inhale, tense. Let's throw the breath out. Double breath. One more time. Inhale, double breath. Now take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Focusing on the point between the eyebrows. Now let the air out, keeping your attention uplifted. And let's visualize there at the point between the eyebrows. Let's visualize Guruji there. Surrounded by the light. That light is shining. You can imagine his eyes, that light through his eyes shining into us, through our spiritual eye, into our heart. Feel ourselves to be drawing his blessings. He's blessing us, surrounding us in his love, in his light, in his guidance. Now, keeping your attention at the point between the eyebrows, let's listen to this week's reading and affirmation on the subject of success. True success means transcendence. It means finding what we really want, which is not outward things, but inner peace of mind, self-understanding, and above all, the joy of God. Outward success means transcendence also. It means rising above past accomplishments to reach new levels of achievement. Success can mean accepting failure too, when such acceptance helps us to transcend a false ambition. Every failure, moreover, can be a stepping stone to higher achievement. Success should not be measured by things accomplished, but by our increasing understanding, ability, and closeness to God. Now, keeping your attention now firmly at the point between the eyebrows, we can repeat this affirmation together. Now, I recommend you mute yourselves here so we don't create a cacophony. Let's say loudly, I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future filled with inner joy. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future, filled with inner joy. Now a little bit more softly in soft voice. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future, filled with inner joy. And now let's finally do this in mental affirmation. I leave behind me both my failures and accomplishments. What I do today will create a new and better future, filled with inner joy. And our prayer for the morning, O Creator of galaxies and countless blazing stars, the power of the very universe is thine. May I reflect that power in the little mirror of my life and consciousness. So welcome again to everybody to our first satsang of the new year. And I'm pleased to say that many of you are joining us, or many of different centers, representatives from different centers are joining us today. And I think some of those representatives also will be sharing with you a few words as well. And it's nice for us to be able to create a sense of unity, especially here at the beginning of the year, sort of like a new beginning, and also because it also is dedicating this service to our Guru Paramhansa Yogananda. I think I've said, you've probably even heard me say at some time in the past that we're in a time when we look around, you can see it's a time of accelerating change. It's really a dynamic change. You look back to Master's lifetime when he was alive, and even in his lifetime, tremendous change happened from him, late from the time of his birth, the early part of the century, and throughout his life, it was a time of tremendous change. Well, that is only accelerated, and it just seems to be continuing to accelerate. And as we know, we've reiterated this many times, but we can know from our own experience that when you have times of change, it's also tumultuous. And there's resistance, because honestly, I think it's my observation of human nature that most people don't like change too much, although theoretically they say they do, but when the change is affecting me, well, maybe not so much. And so consequently, there's a resistance to change as well. And you can, in times of change, it can be at times of upheaval also. And so you find particularly, we look back at the past year, and what do we see? We see a lot of change has happened. And you can see that there's been resistance to that change. People don't want to go with the flow of what that change is calling us to do. And so it's been a time of difficulty. And in such times, we need to also have tools to be able to navigate those times of difficulties. And one thing I have always noticed too, and even if you look back at this past year, and I'm speaking more in a longer rhythm, but if we take it just to what's happened in this last year, you see times of change, times of difficulty, this pandemic, although they're not always pleasant, you also notice they're implanted in times of change are also opportunities, arise. So there's many number of different opportunities that have also arisen at this time if we look for them. So yes, this has been the pandemic's past, and hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. Maybe by the end of this year that we're in now, this pandemic will be behind us. You might say, like in the rearview mirror, it'll be behind us. But the effects of what's happened this past year are going to linger. They're going to, and people talk about, oh, it'll be so good to get back to normal. Well, I think by now we all realize that it's not going to be like the old normal. It's, the word of the year, you might say, is the new normal. And because you can't go back, and things have changed. And it's a fact. It's just like nature and natural selection and evolution. Environment creates disruption, change creates disruption, and those who are able to adapt to the change, they prosper. Those who cannot adapt to the change, well, they pass away. And I think we all know, and you can see in what's happening here in this last year. I'm broadcasting this from America, and a lot of stores, big that have been in existence for decades, are closing. They've closing their doors. Sales have gone down so badly, and they don't foresee that they're really going to come back. You find lots of enterprises, they're passing away. And in one sense, we feel a little bit regretful. Oh no, because it's not just stores that are passing away, other things are moving away, and we realize they're not going to come back necessarily, or certainly if they do, they're not going to come back like they were before. And there's a certain tug that we feel to that. But at the same time, and this applies not just to stores and outward things, but it's on all levels. This is taking place. And it's taking place even on religious organizations, the outreach that we're doing. Ananda Sangha is adapting. All of us on every level, we all have to adapt to the change to be able to prosper. But it's like thinking about Kali Yuga is like concrete. We often talk about Kali Yuga being very solid and immovable in many ways. And concrete is a good symbol of that, a concrete sidewalk, concrete driveway, very solid. But yet, you shake, and an earthquake comes and it shakes that, it cracks. And what happens? After a year or two, monsoon comes, seeds go into those cracks, and the next year, something's growing in there. And pretty soon, after a few years, you get plants that have sprung up, and those seeds have found a new environment, a new opportunity when that concrete cracked. And I think that's what we're seeing here in our day and age. The past ways, the firmness, things are moving aside, and it offers new opportunities for new forms to come. And I think this is going to, again, like I say, it applies on all different levels. Now, there are some things that do not change. Sanatana Dharma does not change. But the expression of Sanatana Dharma must change to keep pace with the movement of time, with the changes that take place in society. And I think all of us are facing that. Sanatana Dharma does not change, but we as individuals need to be adaptable as well and not hang on to the past. Now, hang on to those things that are useful from the past, of course, but the attachment, realize that things are going to pass, new things at the same time are going to arise, and to be open for those opportunities. I remember Swami Kriyananda once telling me when I asked him for advice about something, he said, look for opportunities and act on them. And that's what we must do, we as individuals. But we also, as Ananda Sangha and centers, all of us, we must look for opportunities and act on them. And Guru by our side will be guided to go in the right direction. So that new expression. This is what Master came. And if you could say, why did our masters come? And Swami said it very succinctly. He said, the masters came to prepare us for a new age. Because this century that we're moving 20 years now into, this is going to be a century of great changes. I mean, even the scientists will say that. You know, social scientists, physical scientists, it's going to be a time. Now, I may be of a generation that won't see a lot of that, but many of you are. You're going to see that in your lives, the great changes. And Master came, the Gurus came to give us the tools to be able to navigate that change. Now, of course, he came for many other reasons as well, but I think that basically encapsulates it. Those tools that he brought, a new way of looking at life, a new way of turning society toward truth, bringing East and West together, showing underlying unity between scriptures, new ways to express ancient ideas, and especially, these are outward things, he came for each soul who calls, who has called. He's come in response, and he's come for everybody. This is the role of an avatar, of course, but he comes for each individual disciple, calling by the wayside. 1 trillion times if necessary, he'll come again and again for each one of us. So we have our personal devotion and call. Some of us we all fill unique roles, but all of us must fulfill that role of being a true, loyal disciple to a great guru. And one of the best ways to be that loyal disciple is also to serve his work. In other words, in our heart, being a representative to whoever we meet. We don't shine our own individuality so much. We let Guru shine through us as Guru reaches out through us with his joy to all souls that we meet. So I'm going to invite now Dhyana to, you could say, be our MC for introducing a number of different people we have that is going to also share a little bit with you today. Many blessings to all of you.
Thank you. And welcome again to everyone. I'd like to request Jayanti to say a few words. Each of these speakers now will be talking for just a couple minutes and sharing how their master's life and his birth has blessed their life. So I request first Jayanti to share with us.
Thank you, Jaya ji and Dhyana ji, and a very happy new year to all of you. So I was asked to talk about how birth of Paramhansa Yogananda has been a blessing for me. So I came on this path 11 years back, and really, I mean, for me, the day I took discipleship, I accepted, I opened myself, my heart to my guru, is when he was born for me. And since then, I have found so much of blessings flowing into our lives. And especially this last year that Jayaji was, this full year that Jayaji was talking about, one thing that his birth, the Guru's birth in my life has given me is that I live without fear. I live without any worry. Taken anything that has come, knowing that there is somebody watching over me, he will take care. And when I say that, it's not only since I came on this path, but when I look back on all the other times before I came on this path also, especially the challenging times, when I look back on those days, I always feel that, there was always a hand helping me then also. People were placed who would be, in a situation to help me. A lot of them, I have even lost contact with them. But those days, I would have thought that, oh, that was luck that, this person came and helped me. But now having come on this path and, having understood what the role of a guru is in each one of our lives, I know that they were not, as Master said, there are no coincidences. So I know that those people have been placed. There was this hand that was guiding it all. So it's been a very protected feeling that one gets. I heard Swami Kriyananda in one of his talks. He says that in Indian scriptures it says that. When the soul starts his journey in this, when God created, the god also assigned a guru to the soul. Each soul is assigned a guru. It's an eternal journey that the guru travels with each one of us. And when the soul is ready, as Jayaji was just saying, when the soul is ready, the guru comes. So but it's on us to magnetize that the guru to us when he makes his presence felt, when he takes birth in our hearts. And in Autobiography of a Yogi, there are stories of Master himself when he meets his guru in a very dusty lane on when in his search for his guru. And when he finally met him, the soul knew that this is my guru. And all that Sri Yukteswar said, my own, you have come. So, and Lahiri Mahashay, when he went, he got that telegram, he got transferred and went to the hills of Ranikhet. And when he met there, Babaji showed him the seat that he used to meditate on in his previous incarnation. And when, he died and he came back, he was watching over him. He said, I have been watching over you even beyond this land of life and death. And when the time was right, he came back. So for each one of us who have come here, I'm sure our master has kept our seats waiting for us to open our hearts again. And when we did, he just came in, and he's been blessing. And my only prayer now that I have opened myself, I have recognized my guru, my only prayer is that I continue to not lose sight of him till I merge back into the infinity, till the liberation. That because the guru never loses sight of the disciples. That's what Swamiji said. It's always the disciple who loses sight. So I just hope and pray that that never happens, that now that I have found him, I continue to be there with him. Jai Guru.
Thank you, Jayanti. I'll ask Jamal and then Bara to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dhyana ji. Thank you, Jaya ji, for pulling this beautiful celebration together. It's such a joy to be celebrating Master's birthday together. And Master's birth has blessed my life in that it has given my life meaning and hope. That as we look around in chaotic times like we're living in, it's very easy to think, is there meaning to all of this and what's going on? But Master has clearly shown, and Swamiji has clearly shown, that there is meaning to it all. I recently read an article by a judge who was talking about William the Conqueror and all of the changes that he brought in, including making language so that the common man could understand what was going on in courts. Before that, in one language was what they did in the courts, and then the other language was what the common man spoke, and he had no idea what was even going on. And this judge is still advocating today that we need those same changes to happen. And I bring this up because Master comes for a particular incarnation, but let's say we're going this direction, it overlaps. Then he comes again, but still this judge is advocating things that Master was talking about 1,000 years ago. And so what Master has come in today, it's just the beginning. A seed was planted for us to see drastic changes on how everything can become much more simple, much more filled with hope, love, joy, peace. But we don't need to wait another 1,000 years. We just have to get in tune right now and start to take their teachings to heart and practice them. And that's another thing that I'm so grateful for, is that Swamiji, Master, that they have given us a very practical way to live. They've showed us, you have XYZ problem, do this. And it's very clear and easy and simple. It's not something very hard to understand. And I'm just I'm so grateful for that, but also so excited about it, that I have to share these teachings with absolutely anyone who's interested in them, because they work that we can have such wonderful lives, even in the middle of chaos and suffering and despair and pandemonium, that we still can be happy. We still can lead productive lives. We still can feel this hope and this joy within our hearts, absolutely no matter what happens. I'm not going to speak long at all today. There's only one more point that I want to make, and that is I am also so very grateful for Swamiji in my life, for seeing someone who puts these teachings of Master into practice. He didn't just talk about them, he lived them. He was a living example. And I want to urge everyone to not only attune yourself to Master, but also attune yourself to this ray, to Swamiji, that he further clarified things that Master didn't have the time to explain. And it's important for all of us as disciples of Master to also tune into Swamiji, to his silent grace, his love, his power, his joy. It's there, it's with us right now. And that I hope then each one of us can also become a living link for Swamiji, for Master, for their joy, for their hope, for their love into this world. So above all, I'm so grateful to be Master's disciple and to be on this path and to be with all of you sharing in their grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And now, Bara.
Good morning, everyone. As everyone has said, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with all of you. And now I was thinking a little bit about this, how has Master's life or his birth changed me? And I was thinking that in this day and age, especially now more than before, even in my time, it is so easy to kind of be fake, you could say. If you look at Facebook, Instagram, things like TikTok, which didn't exist when even I was a kid, it is so easy to put out something that you are not. Or it is very easy also to wish to be like those people over there, that they look so happy, they look so great, they look like they're having a lot of fun. But a lot of it is just fake. You know, even now, I could be wearing no pants and you will have no way to know. Obviously, I am wearing pants, but anyway, that to say that it is so easy to trick people, to just have this fake reality. And I remember when I was younger that I just didn't know who I wanted to be. Fortunately, I didn't fall in the pitfalls of just trying to imitate everybody else and, you know, get into the bad things that other people got into. I had at least that much sense. But I really didn't know who I wanted to be or what I wanted to be. And if you look at it, most people are just copying other people, really. Or they are saying, okay, I guess my parents told me I should do this, so I'm going to do this. Or I see that person is doing that, I'm going to do that. I want to be like them in an outward way. And finally, everybody realizes that possibly that's not what they wanted to do. And in some ways, I think myself, I was like that too. I had a little bit of a goal, but I had no idea where I was going. And something that Master came and gave is really a purpose of who I want to be. He made that very clear. Who do I want to be? And who I want to be doesn't mean I want to be here speaking to all of you and, you know, no, those are the outward things, as Jaya was saying, the outward roles that, okay, we have for now, we had to do all of these things, but who I want to be inside, what is my goal in life? And as Jamal was saying, more importantly, how to go about it. And I had to say that because of these teachings, because of Masters Ray, of Ananda, Swamiji, I have been able to finally be myself, finally be who I am supposed to be. Not only, yes, you know, I wish to be more, obviously, I want to be like Master in the sense of, yes, achieve his realization. But even you see that in this journey, when you let go of all those things that you want to be, quote unquote, or you're supposed to be because society and other people say you should be, you become who you truly are. And you start shining your own light, which is beautiful in its own way. Sometimes it may be weird for other people, but if it's what is supposed to shine, it is beautiful. And I think for all of us, that's a wonderful thing that we should always contemplate who I am and who does Master want me to be, that should express from within and not try to put on a scene, because in the spiritual path it's also very easy to put a scene that make people believe that you're so spiritual and blah, blah, blah. Well, be who you are and just think of God and Master and just be humble about it. And I think that's one of the greatest things that Master has taught me, and his birth has taught me his life.
And Abhishek and Shama.
Namaste everyone. Welcome to this Satsang. Thank you all who spoke earlier, Jaya ji, Dhyana ji, and everyone. And I was thinking about it, how our lives are blessed. It's not only my life, but how our lives are blessed by Master. First of all, just see, all of us are together from wherever we are. Sometimes we are together physically, but it just doesn't matter. Look at today, all of us are together, isn't it? In these difficult times. I think this is one of the very, very important, wonderful blessings. Swamiji played that so very beautifully. He emphasized the importance of community in these difficult times. And it's good to be physically together, but it's more in spirit, that community feeling that, people are there who are with us. That's important. Then I was also thinking about how blessed we are in terms of, how Master has blessed our life. And I was thinking yesterday, that's the way the human mind thinks. So what does it mean? When I took discipleship, then I started getting the blessing. And what about before? Because when you say the human mind starts comparing before and after kind of thing. So I was wondering, what is the reference point? Is it, in this birth? Is it when I took the discipleship? But I think Jayanti pointed out very nicely, Master must have been, and I strongly believe, have been watching us very clearly. And there's this very marvelous, beautiful book, Two Souls, Four Lives, about, how Swamiji and Master sort of came together. I think Swami has spoken about it some point of time. And we tend to think, oh, it was only Swamiji, he was blessed. No, it just doesn't work like that. Master came with a mission, with a very strong mission. Of course, we know he came individually for all of us, like Sister Yogananda said. He said to Master that you must have come for, interpreting the Bhagavad Gita, bringing the Kriya Yoga in this new age and things like that. But I want to believe, and I also want to believe, like Gyan Mata said, Master came for me, but Master came for all of us, isn't it? And he's been watching us for a very long time. And it's time for all of us to introspect on that thought. I strongly believe this time which is going right now is the time to introspect, beginning of the year. Please do introspect in your life. What changes do you want to bring? What part do you want to play in this mission of Master? Not that we all have to, start talking about it, but the way we live, that is what is going to leave a mark and an impression. Another thought which was crossing my mind, and it always does, before I came on the path in the sense outwardly, I had read a lot, and Master describes there are three main aspects of sort of spiritual life. One is Shankar Yoga, which tells us in some way that why does the world doesn't work. And those of us who lived long enough, we know it doesn't work to live outwardly. As Master says, it brings us to that place of anguishing monotony. And then the second part is the Vedanta, which describes the experience of that oneness of God. But the most important part for me was the yoga part, meaning how to achieve that. And I'm not really talking only of the final union, but in our day-to-day lives, how do we live? How do we live joyfully? And it's very, very important for me specifically. I'm sure it's very important for all of you also, it's good to understand and read and apply our minds, because we are given this faculty of mind to use it. But it's more important to understand how do we progress, what steps do we take in every aspect of life. And I think Swamiji, Master, have brought all of that together. It's a blessing that they have given us everything for every situation of life, for relationships, this and that. Another thought crossed my mind, important one. Master gave us that assurance and that faith that if we park our faith in him, whatever will happen for our own individual good. Now I spoke of faith. And, for some people, in a lighter sense, not really making fun of them. But sometimes, how do we say what is our faith? It's like, I was talking to somebody and, she's getting married and it's like, oh, I'm so happy, Master has made it work. But what if it doesn't work? Or what if, our relationship fails or bad things come to us? Then we say, oh, I have lost faith. And that's not the definition of faith. And so Master gives us that confidence that whatever is coming to us, and that strength also, conviction and courage to me, whatever is coming to me now, like Master said, I've taken your karma and I'm giving you mine. It's not true for me, it's true for all of us. Whatever is coming from Master. And Master has given us that conviction, strength, courage to follow. Try to be joyful, not that he has given us tools to be joyful. We try to practice them, not always, but we do try our best to follow them. But he has given a very clear-cut path how to do it. Lastly, very fortunate, as I said, that we are part of this legacy of Master to bring, like Jayaji was saying, a new way of Sanatan Dharma. We are all very fortunate to play our part, our role, not really individually in the sense of ego's way, but let the divine flow through us, and part of that great legacy of these great avatars, and just very, very extremely blessed and fortunate. Thank you very much.
Shama, could you share just a couple of words? And Aditya?
Yes, Dhyanaji, thank you so much. So I think Master has blessed all of us with so much of it may take some time. But I'll just share a small story and finish with that. When my son was in 3rd year, and he has been a part of Ananda for a long time. And I just asked him about, what is going on in the college nowadays regarding, substance and all. You hear so much. So how do you manage yourself? And he just told me in 3 lines very plainly. He said, Mommy, I want to tell you something. I want to thank you, because you don't know what kind of life people are living. Their lives are so complicated. But you have given us Ananda, Swamiji, and the life there, the people who are living there, they are living such high lives. You can't even believe the kind of love they share among each other. That is not there in the world outside. So the way people live there, the way people share their love with each other, the way we know that joy exists there also. So we did not find the joy there. So he said, I was very much sure that, I have seen the best times, and the times are there. People are there who practice those things and they are happy. So I did not find my happiness there. So I think I want to thank Master for blessing us for Ananda, for giving us Ananda, where we have so many inspirations. And we have Swamiji, his life. We have Jayaji, Dhyanaji, Nayaswami, Devi, and Jyotish. We see them, we learn from them, and we try to follow those things. And ultimately, share that joy with all. So thank you, Master, for accepting us as your disciple.
Thank you, Shamaji. And a very happy new year to everyone. Happy Master's birthday, dear friends and Guru Bhais. So friends, you might say, I'd like to just share 2 aspects where personally Master's life, his birth affected me. First, I think the way I got introduced to him was like I kind of found a professor of medicine, you might say. Being a doctor, going through the rounds, seeing people suffer, this question was always in my mind. Why do such certain illnesses happen to certain people? And especially what happens when people die? And as we all would know, there are only limited answers. You might say cause and effect, scientific answers to that medical science knows. So reading autobiography, the conviction that came through seeing Master's picture on the cover, and right away, he didn't shy from talking about reincarnation, his memories as an infant, and things like that. Also, I remember one line which always stays in my mind. He said, "I'm a spiritual doctor." So I could instantly relate to that. And I said, oh, yes. So he knows those answers. So that, you might say, helped me a lot, brought me guidance, and actually brought me out of what I was practicing. I remember I told Swamiji, I love what I'm doing medically, but this is so much better. So for me, it was like my next step. He gave me that, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Secondly, friends, was, you might say, more on a personal level, is I used to ponder about, again, world situations, politics, environment, what's going on. It's like we are, on one level, a very intelligent civilization right now. On the other hand, some of the worst mistakes are also shining through clearly before us. And I said, what's going on? And I remember Master's statement, change yourself, and you would have done your part in changing the world. And I am still practicing that, trying to understand it. And I asked Swamiji one time, and I'd like to close with this story. I was very new. I think it may have been my first or second meeting with him. I saw the opportunity. There was hardly anybody around. And I just asked him this question. I said, sir, is this world perfect already? I mean, God created it. I mean, we are small. We come and go before the blink of an eye. We are gone. I said, is this world perfect, or should we do something about it? And he said yes and no. He said, on one level it is, because God is in charge and God created it. But right away he said, but look around. I don't see perfection. I see perfection hardly anywhere. There is so much to do. And I said, yes. But then he said, and he kind of, he clothed the answer in this statement. He said, I have always made inner peace my bottom line, which is to say, if we can be at peace with God's plan and peacefully go about doing our part, that's perhaps what God and Gurus expect. So that is how also these few things personally, Master's teachings, his life, Swami's advice has changed me. I'm trying to live by those teachings. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Dhyana ji now to please share with us.
Unfortunately, Dhyana ji has disconnected. I think she's having connection problem. So we will proceed with Swamiji's talk.
Okay, sure, Nitesh.
Catherine and I were in a restaurant, and Catherine asked me, were you already determined to speak those words to Master that you first spoke when you met him? Because the first words I ever said were, I want to be your disciple. I said, I don't really know. I just knew this is what I had to do. And I suppose the words formed themselves. I can't say, I don't know. But I do know that from the moment I met him, possibly before that, because I had complete trust. I mean, mind you, here was somebody who had had no exposure to anything, who didn't believe in miracles. Page 8 of the autobiography, somebody is materializing in a wheat field. This one I got to put on a shelf. That one I got to put on a shelf. I had to put an awful lot of things on the shelf. I was so completely transfixed by his spirit, so full of love, so humble, so truthful, so genuine, so mine. I can't put it differently.
Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. The time has come for us to see that there's but one reality upon the earth and high above, the truth that all was made from love. A love that calls to us to fly above the hills, above the sky, above the storms, above the pain, a land where peace and laughter reign. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. Guide all our hopes and all our dreams, past every glow that only seems, into the light, the inner sun, into the truth that we're all one. Help us to find in every hour, in every thought, in every flower, the joy that spans eternity, the truth that makes us ever free. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. The time has come for us to see that there's but one reality upon the earth and high above, the truth
I'll close with a few thoughts that I bet most of you felt this way at the beginning, as I did when I read Autobiography of a Yogi. It was way over my head. I had no idea what these concepts were about of karma and reincarnation and levitating saint and the woman Giri Bala who never ate and Pranabananda with the second body. I mean, it was far out. But I felt in my heart a vibration, a calling. I felt Master's blessing at that time. And I longed to know what his teachings were about. And I called out. I remember I wanted to help from the very beginning. And I just thought everyone should read this. Everyone should have this knowledge, these tools. Everybody should have this blessing. And I didn't know quite what to do. I was living in Los Angeles. I was with another group at the time, following Master, but it wasn't. I didn't know practically what I could do. And then I remember just asking, where is my family? I know that there are people who are just like me, who want to serve, who want to get this message out, who want to share. And then I found Ananda and Swamiji. And Swamiji made the teachings come to life. He would tell us who Master was, what was he like. He would show us, this is how you chant. These are the chants that he chanted. You all can chant these too. He had a big tanpura. He would bring that out and he would chant and he would say, now this is an Indian instrument and this Master he liked this chant and he showed us how to do the practices. What are the techniques? Why don't you do it this way? What are you doing? And he brought it to life. And that was his role. Master told him, you have a great work to do. He said it is lecturing, editing, writing, and in all that drawing souls to God. And Swamiji said, but I don't really want to be a teacher and a lecturer. Master said, you better learn to like it because it's what you're going to have to do. And he told him, you have a great work to do. And Rajasi said to to Swamiji's Master said, you have a great work to do and he will give you the strength to do that great work. And Swamiji said to many of us, it was at one of his birthdays, and there were hundreds of people there, and he said, and you all are part of that strength to help me. And it is the same now. He's passed the baton to us. We are part of the blessing of Master in this world during troubled, challenging, difficult times to get his message out, his blessings out, his grace, his vibrations of peace and harmony, the tools, as different speakers have said, the techniques. And in this time, as Master's birthday, let us think, how can I share my Guru's blessings with others? He has gifted me this wonderful life, all that Master's given me. How can I share that? And as today we do arati and blessing, feel like you're giving your gift to Master. It may be praying for people, maybe teaching, taking yoga teacher training, learning how to teach others yoga, meditation teacher training. It could be calling people, sending messages, getting the word out, getting the books out. There's so many ways a person can serve. But let us now just think of what gift can I give my Guru on his birthday, on this day. And let us also remember that Master's birthday, because of him and his message and his mission, is our own birthday. And at Ananda, we say on this special day, and I'll close with this, to say to all of you, and let's feel it's from Master, it's not from me, from Master to all of us, a very, very warm and happy birthday to everyone. Now I'd like you to stand And let's, if you're able to, or at least join in that way, we'll do an arati to Master and a blessing to close our satsang. As we look at this light, now the light of God, the light of the Gurus, close your eyes, feel their blessing, especially Master's blessing, his grace, his joy, his magnetism filling you. Feel his blessing at your spiritual eye. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. To close, I'd like to present, there are two new books, speaking of reaching out to others. This one, Whispers from Eternity, I believe it's the first time in Hindi that we are putting out. It will be formally launched on Master's actual birthday on the 5th of January. And Master says here, I'll read this in English, dedicated into all the soul temples of Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hebrews, Hindus, and others, wherein the cosmic heart throbs equally always, and unto the multicolored lamps of all true teachings, in which shines the same one white flame of God. And then a very brief excerpt from Swamiji. I consider this book the supreme contribution, spiritually speaking, of my life. What I see studying this great work carefully once more at this late stage of my own life is that my guru took every conceivable situation in which the sincere God seeker might find himself and showed him the best possible attitude with which to cope spiritually. Whispers is a handbook par excellence for the spiritual seeker. I feel a deep blessing and having actually worked on it to present this great scripture in a new form to the public. So now also Hindi speakers will be able to read these beautiful words. And remember, Master said, I will speak to you through my whispers from eternity. Also today, we have another wonderful book, Scientific Healing Affirmations by Yogananda ji, that Ananda is putting out, the 1924 first edition. This too will be launched on Master's birthday on the 5th. But I read something here very nice I want to read to you. Master said this, dedicated to my Guru Deva, Srimat Swami Sri Yukteswarji, with sincere love, reverence, and devotion. And finally, he says, words that are saturated with sincerity, conviction, faith, and intuition are just like highly explosive vibration bombs, which when let out are sure to explode the rocks of difficulties and create the changed desire. So this is how Master originally put this book out in 1924. I'll just place them on the altar and then we can do a prayer. That they may reach many true-seeking souls. Let's close with the healing prayer and include these beautiful, much-needed books in our thoughts. And let's visualize the great light of our Guru's Master at this holy time around his birth. Let us see each one of us as if we were holding the flame of his love, his light, his blessings, to be passed on to other truth seekers in this world. Let us see all of us united and walking forward into the light, hand in hand with our masters to bring their light to this world. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, great masters, beloved Guru Dev, thou art omnipresent, thou art in everyone. Manifest thy presence in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls. Let's rub our hands together. And let's share our blessings and light with the whole world as we chant Om. Om. Let's close with a prayer. Divine Mother, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lady Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, our beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Beloved Master, we honor thee at this time of thy birth in this world. We lay the flowers of our love, our devotion, our commitment, our loyalty to thee. Help us in our efforts to uplift our consciousness and attune ourselves to thee. We are thine, be thou ours. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. God bless you all and happy Master's birthday. God bless you.
Blessings to all.